I don't usually talk about it on the first day because it seems so obvious. But today is all going to be standing. We're not going to deal with the ground. Today, the game plan is going to be the same idea, right? Worst case scenario, our pre-fight threat containment strategies failed. We weren't aware, we didn't get deselected, we didn't do any of that kind of stuff. And our first inkling that we've been attacked is pain. So Tweety birds flying around. But we're still going to be on our feet, right? If you look at things like the knockout game in the videos, yeah, sometimes the knockout happens right away. Sometimes you get knocked out and go to the ground. We talked about that yesterday. But sometimes you get hit and you're still on your feet. Because we'll talk about this in a little bit about how hard it is to actually knock somebody out with one punch. But one of the things that usually comes up at this point is I'm a weapons bearer, right? I totally believe in the utility and function of carrying a firearm as often as I legally can. Right? I got my CCW, I've had it forever. I carry as often as I possibly can in most things. And you go, all right, well, why then, in a self-defense situation, why do I have to worry about any hand-to-hand stuff? Why don't I just pull out a gun and shoot him? And I kind of mentioned a little bit this yesterday. One of the problems when martial artists tend to teach hand-to-hand stuff in a self-defense environment, they tend to crowbar in what they like. We're going to do what I like, what I'm good at. My system is a kicking system, and I'm good at it, so that's what I'm going to teach you. And I think that's good for, on the street. Oh, no, that's not good if you got to punch, right? We all bring our own biases. And like I said, I did that myself when for the first couple open enrollment seminars I taught. I was like, hey, this is what I teach to my private students, this is what I teach in my small group students, so this is what we're going to teach in open enrollment. But I think it's important to not just do it because somebody told you you should or you think it's good. Why should we worry about possibly having a hand-to-hand skill set even if we're carrying firearms on a regular basis? So I kind of put it into 3 areas where I think it's a smart idea. What do you guys think? Is there a good reason?
It might not be appropriate to use deadly force against the guy.
Exactly. You're at a family wedding and Uncle Steve gets a little drunk and out of control. Your family's probably not going to be happy if you mag dump some HST into him. He might deserve it, but you're probably not going to be popular in your family. Right? I don't like being an armchair quarterback because I think a lot of times it comes across as, oh, I would do this. But we can learn lessons, and so I always refer to Zimmerman as an example. He was found innocent, right, of murder for shooting Trayvon Martin. Doesn't mean his life is kind of good, right? I don't think any of us would trade places with him. All the stuff he went through, the fact that his life's ruined. So even when it might be legal to use lethal force, it might not always be the best idea. Now, if you're in that situation, if he was in that situation and there was no other answer but use lethal force, well, you just, that's what you have to do. You have to take the, roll with the punches. The problem is, as you guys saw yesterday, there's plenty of non-lethal force, non-firearm stuff he could have done in that situation that anybody could use with a little bit of skill set. You can go to any jiu-jitsu gym anywhere in the world, any day of the week, and you'll see 130-pound women getting 200-pound men off them using those techniques. So, okay, I can use lethal force, but maybe I don't have to. Cool. We were talking last night, I was at dinner with Daryl and stuff, and it's, yeah, that's fine. We can have the skill set and do this and defend ourselves, but it's going to be a hassle no matter what, financially, emotionally, maybe, even with jail time. It'd be nice if we could avoid that entirely. So that might be a good reason to have some kind of other than shooting skill set. What else? There's two others that I think is kind of
The gun
important.
may be a disadvantage in a given scenario.
Say that again?
The gun may be a disadvantage in a given scenario, may not be the best tool for the person.
I would kind of categorize that just what we're talking, you know, I would put it, you're right, but I think it would kind of fit into that area, you know, there, you can have it, might be a good idea, but maybe use something else besides that.
You may not be able to get to your gun.
Exactly. You may not be able to get your gun, and you're gonna see that a lot this afternoon. I'm not gonna tell you it's gonna be hard. I'm going to let you experience it for yourself firsthand, that even if you have a good draw stroke and you have a good, fast presentation, that depending on proximity of the threat and his intent and how much you fail the pre-fight situation, you might not be able to get to your gun clearly. You might have to fight your way to the gun. You might have to set up the situation. Look how many times yesterday just on the ground, there was a number of you who were able to get to your gun. Didn't matter. Because just going to the gun might not be the sole answer. So that there's one other that I think it's important to think about as why we might need something besides the gun.
Malfunction.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But then we could debate whether it's gonna be a better idea to fix the malfunction and get it back running or not, you know. But yeah, I agree. I think that's one. But there's one really important one. What if you can't have a gun? I don't care who you are. Law enforcement, military, unless you have federal creds. No, even then. Okay, federal creds you get to carry on a plane. But even then, right, there's places that you can't carry.
Once I get overseas, it goes in a box and goes to customs or federal police.
And your need for self-defense doesn't go in that box. You know, there are plenty, the world is still not exactly a safe place. I don't care where you go. And as private citizens, we have, you know, those of us who are private citizens, we have even more of those situations where we can't carry. You know, even cops. I have a video somebody sent me a few years ago. It was two detectives, a male and a female, interviewing a suspect in a interrogation room.
Yeah, interview.
In a room. And for whatever reason, the guy just had to be a lunatic, because I don't know why you would do this, but he decided it would be a really good idea to try to escape. And he attacked the two detectives. And he hit or pushed the woman down, and then he's just beating the hell out of the male detective. Finally, the woman gets up and runs out to go for help. And then a few seconds later, a bunch of other cops come in and pile drive. But those two detectives weren't allowed to have weapons in the room with them, and then they didn't have any other skill set. They're cops, they should have guns, but not always.
Yeah, that's our policy as well. Can interview suspect in the interrogation room with a weapon.
Yeah, and there's other, a few years ago, when we did the Mid-Atlantic Tactical Conference, it was just outside Washington DC, so a bunch of us stayed an extra day to do some sightseeing, and a bunch of them were cops. Almost all the museums you couldn't carry. They had lockers out in front, Smithsonian and a couple other places. You had to put your weapons in a box or in the locker. So here's my thought on that. I like the idea that I can never be disarmed. Drop me down naked on a desert island, I can fight. I have the skill set and the weapons instilled software-wise that you can't disarm me. Would it be nice to have a gun? And a lot of times, yeah. It does make life easier in certain situations. But I'm never unarmed. So I think that's not just that it's useful in an actual application sense, it's also useful in what it does for me. Right? Not to get mystical or anything weird like that, but I think there's something about projecting confidence outwards that people can read. If I know, okay, I don't want to get into a fight. I don't want to fight this dude walking down the street, but if I have to, okay, I can do it. I think there's something that that your body, your presence gives off that, hey, you know what? He's not a soft target. And if that alone keeps me out of situations, it's worth it. It's worth all the time I spend on the map. If I can deselect myself as a target just from doing simple things, I don't know, I think it's worth it. So does that make sense? So I don't want to just, I don't want this to be, hey, here's some more stuff, let's fight. No, see, so I'm on my feet, I'm just going to move away and get a gun out. Okay? Hopefully, and by the end of the day, you'll see for yourself. It won't be me telling you. You guys will go, oh yeah, that's probably good. Make sense? Cool.
Sure.